really provide optimal therapy early in the life of a hypertensive patient. Benefits: early response in a large number of patients, improves the tolerability, the degree to which a patient can tolerate the drug given the reduced adverse events, therefore enhances therapy adherence. So you adhere to the therapy regimen and you then seek, or you're on a road to better long-term blood pressure control. So Optidoz was actually put through rigorous clinical and regulatory process. Since these three ingredients had not been tested previously at the dosing levels that each one of them are represented in the medicine today, we had to prove the value of the three ingredients in that combination at the unique dosing that they are in through a clinical trial called CONTROL. CONTROL stands for Comparative Study Evaluating Normalization of Blood Pressure with this triple pill as outcome against telmisartan and hydrochlorothiazide. So these are standard of care products, telmisartan and hydrochlorothiazide. They were in the control arm. Our product Optidoz was in the test arm. And we put this clinical trial across the country. Over 500 patients were tested, 512 across 18 centers over an 8-week period, which is the last bullet. And this trial was conducted between November 2010 and June 2011 per the Good Clinical Practices, or GCP, in accordance with the Helsinki Declaration. So it's a robust clinical study which was approved by the DCGI in January of 2013. Sonig in Delhi, who's also a leading cardiologist in the north. So as you heard them say, they all reiterated, Dr. Anil Datta was the past president of CSI, outgoing president at this meeting. Minor clarification. So as you heard them talk about Optidoz, they mentioned the reduced number of adverse events. They mentioned the ability of Optidoz to drive adherence to treatment, given that it reduces pill burden and it's once daily. You heard the early, faster response of Optidoz as well in diabetic patients suffering from hypertension and then hypertensive patients alone. So that's the promise of this product, to really get you 3 tablets into one, but individually at the right dose and combine into one pill once daily, reducing hopefully the burden of the disease in the country, which is alarmingly high. You know, as I was looking at the data and trends with the medical team, a 12-fold increase in urban incidence of hypertension in just 6 decades is significant, and it's quite alarming. 7-fold increase in hypertension even in the rural areas in the last 60 years. So again, we are sitting on a ticking time bomb, hypertension being the silent killer, and I think Optidoz is a significant advancement in enabling these patients prevail over serious disease. So thank you. Again, it is significant, as you heard, the 200 million patients, half of them on treatment, 75% are uncontrolled. So those who are uncontrolled on monotherapy are candidates for this drug. So you're looking at 50 to 70 million patients in India without even market developing itself, which is a significant number. You saw the excitement from the KOLs. We refrain from giving product level guidance on revenues, but as you do the arithmetic at an affordable 8 rupees tablet, which again, keep in mind that it has 3 ingredients, collectively it's 8 rupees a day. That's a very affordable price, which would create access for hypertensive patients to this drug. So again, the peak revenue forecast is significant for us. So I think, like I said, the peak revenue forecast, theoretically, the addressable market size is what you said.
It's more
as
than
you do
that,
the
definitely.
arithmetic.
You said
Yes,
72.
so, but that is not the year one revenue forecast which you asked me. So the point is that it's significant financial opportunity. At this time, I'll say this, that we're really excited about the opportunity to create access to such a good drug for patients in India, because we think hypertension is even more suboptimally treated in India than elsewhere in the world. So I'll give you contrasting statistics. In the rest of the world, in the developed world, of those who are diagnosed, almost 87% are on optimal therapy for hypertension. So even if I aspire, to that level, it creates significant opportunity for Optidoz. So if you take, now as you know, for each of these components, there are multiple options available. If you take a high quality alternative and if you add these three, on an average, you'll be looking at anywhere from 12 to 18 rupees if you add the three therapies. So at this rate, you will create definitely a cost advantage for the patient. But mind you, the individual dosing for each of these three ingredients is not available, because that is unique, right? So the higher dose for each of the three ingredients would be available as a standalone tablet at a standalone price. But the value of reduced adverse events and the faster response might not exist. So this would be unique for hypertension. Now, broad combinations in other therapy areas, other disease areas would be available, but a triple combination proven as Optidoz, currently not available in India. So it's already available. That's the best part. So for the overseas markets, we will evaluate the regulatory process and the clinical trial requirements for each of those individual markets. We are looking at that. We will have to comply with the local regulatory process, do a clinical trial in those markets before commercializing it there. For Dr. Reddy's, the effect of NPPA overall has been around 5% to sales. So there are nearly 15 to 20 products that have been affected under the DPCO order. So I mean, there was a question earlier asked as well. So the potential financially to me is less exciting. It is big, of course. The opportunity for us is to really enable patients. And as more and more patients get to optimal control, there will be a significant opportunity, both financially, but more importantly, I think in the short term for patients, where patients pay for medicines. Slowdown in economy definitely hurts us. So that's a very good question. So I think we believe that clearly Optidoz is a great addition to the armamentarium in CV medicine. But as a concept, as we think about Optidoz as a platform, it would certainly create new opportunities within CV and diabetes. So again, for next year, your guess is as good as mine. There is obviously a projection for the GDP for next year. And you've seen numbers anywhere from 4.5 percentage points to 6 percentage points. Again, that is also linked to elections that are coming up this year. So like I said, a lot depends on how the economy does. Obviously, we will see continuous improvement in the regulatory process. We will hopefully see government and on the provider side buying healthcare for people more and more. So there are some headwinds while there are some significant tailwinds. Overall, I do see this year improving versus last year. So, I'll give you a very quick answer today. This would clearly be a topic of discussion separately. Today was more our focus on this exciting launch. But as I said, there are about 10 therapy areas where we have a significant position, where we aspire to improve our competitive position and ranking in each of those therapy areas. I've mentioned most of them earlier. So we would pursue therapy area leadership position through, of course, superior products or differentiated products, such as what you're seeing here today. a superior approach to business when it comes to our business model in India, and really working on driving value creation for patients, working on patient adherence, and their ability to really prevail over serious disease. So that's in a nutshell our blueprint for growth in India. Have superior products, superior approach or business model, work towards focus and deep leadership in the select therapy areas, and that's where our strategic plan is focused on. So as you saw, Optidoz, that's a differentiated product launch. So what our aspiration is that we want to really focus on the unmet needs in India. We want to look at opportunities for differentiating our assets. We also want to look at alliances with global players. As you saw a few months ago, we commercialized Dacotin, which is a product developed and commercialized by Debut Pharma, a Switzerland-based company. We announced an alliance through a press release many months ago for treatment of prostate cancer in India, which has been a resounding success. So the intent is through alliances externally and through internal R&D to develop differentiated assets in the context of what is relevant for India and patients in India fighting serious disease in those therapy areas where we want to build leadership position, and then invest robustly behind those areas and create value. So we are not there yet, in the world where we can use the word cure with hypertension. Like diabetes, sadly, these are considered to be incurable. All you can do is manage these diseases in the life of a patient, so that some of the devastating complications of disease, if you're hypertensive, your likelihood to have a heart attack is very high. Your likelihood to have a stroke is very high if suboptimally managed or controlled. So our focus is to really minimize those devastating complications of the disease for cardiovascular, and similarly for diabetes as well. So thank you everyone. Thanks again for being here. It was a pleasure.